Hello, Eder. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Hello, good morning. Yes, I hear you. Oh, good morning. I can hear you now.
Good. Wonderful. Wonderful, Eder. My name is Lori and I am from Canada. Where are you from?
I'm from Brazil.
Brazil. And why do you study English?
I need to improve my English. I'm thinking do master's degree, so I need to
Oh,
improve.
okay. Okay. All right. Excellent. Well, Eder, well, I'm not sure if you know, this is only your second private class.
Yes.
Well, I'm not sure if the teacher explained in your last class, but we do whatever you want to do in these classes, Eder. If you have a specific topic you'd like to talk about, maybe something that doesn't make sense in English, or a tense, you're not sure when to use a present perfect tense, for example, or past perfect tense. We can focus on anything about the language that you want to talk about. We can have a conversation so you can practice speaking and listening, or we can do a lesson. And I believe that your next lesson would be 5.02. So, what would you like to do today, Eder?
We could do the class.
Okay, wonderful. So I'm going to ask you to read today, please.
Okay. 5.02 Modals. Recommendations and suggestions. By the end of this lesson, you'll be able to indicate the strength of your recommendation using different models. Give advice about packing and traveling.
Excellent. Good reading, Eder. Good pronunciation.
Yeah, I need to
So,
practice my pronunciation.
so read the first question and then answer the first question.
Okay, what do you need to pack when you go on vacation? I need to pack clothes and things that I will use in the travel.
Okay. Oops, sorry.
During
All right. Excellent.
during
And then
travel.
read the next question.
What shouldn't you do when you travel? Um, I don't know. Maybe I don't. I shouldn't disrespect the laws, or I shouldn't um, get my clothes. My work's clothes. I think
I shouldn't take.
the clothes I work every day. The clothes I
Yes.
used
Are
to
you?
work every day.
I okay. So I shouldn't take my work clothes, or I should.
I shouldn't take my work
Okay.
clothes.
Okay. All right. Excellent. So let's go learn about those modals.
Okay.
All right. I'll ask you to read for me, please.
Okay. To give recommendations or indicate obligation, English uses different modal verbs. Modal verbs. Modal. Should, shouldn't, need to, must. Degree
Mm-hmm.
of obligation. Mild, moderate, strong. Example: you should visit Miami. You shouldn't be rude to strangers. You need to book your ticket before traveling. You must obey the law.
Excellent. Excellent. Good job. So the modal that you choose when making a recommendation or giving advice really is dependent on the degree of obligation. And that degree of obligation really relates to consequence. What is the consequence of this, of not following this recommendation or advice? What are the consequences? Are there consequences? How severe are the consequences? Okay, so should and shouldn't are very mild. Very mild degree of consequence. You should visit Miami. You shouldn't be rude to strangers. It's, the consequences aren't significant. If I don't visit Miami, I may miss a unique experience, whatever. Okay, but there's no
Yeah,
severe consequence for not visiting Miami.
yeah.
You
It's
shouldn't
an
be rude.
advice.
Yeah,
I think it's an
yes, it's
advice.
just advice. And so, with the degree of obligation being mild, you really have a choice on whether or not to follow that advice or that recommendation. There's not going to be a severe consequence to you if you don't follow the recommendation. Need to is stronger. It's a moderate degree of obligation. There will be a consequence. You need to book your ticket before traveling. If you don't book your ticket, you won't be traveling. So there is a consequence. Not dramatic. There will be some kind of consequence if you don't follow this recommendation. And then must is strong. Okay? Must is you don't really have a choice. You must obey the law. There is a significant consequence if you don't obey the law. You will be arrested, fined. You might go to jail. Okay, so
Okay.
this is a very strong degree of consequence.
Okay.
There's going to be a severe consequence if you don't do this.
Okay, I have a
All
question.
right?
I have a question.
All right.
Uh, I'll give an example. In a in a library, I say
Mhm.
you need to be quiet, or I say you must be quiet.
Well, what is the consequence of not being quiet, Eder?
Uh,
How severe is the consequence? If you're not quiet, the most severe consequence is that you will be asked to leave the library.
yeah, I think it's not not so strong. It's moderate.
So, what do you think it should be, need to or must?
I think it's need to.
I think it's need to as well. Yes.
You need to be quiet.
Yeah, you need to be quiet in the library.
Okay,
Okay?
okay.
So, yeah, if you think about what is the most severe consequence um, of this action, if they don't follow the action. But here, if you're at an intersection, you're walking in the city, Eder. What city do you live in Brazil?
In Goiânia. In Goiânia.
Okay. So you're walking in the city and you come to an intersection with the stoplights. And the direction you want to go, the light is red. So would you say to you need to wait for the light to change to green before you cross the road, or you must wait for the light to change to green before you cross the road? Which one do you think is more is what is the degree of obligation
I
about
must
crossing the road
I
on a
must
green light?
wait to green to turn green. To light to turn green.
Yes. because there's a very severe consequence. You could get hit by a car
Yeah,
and injured or killed, right?
yeah, it's very severe.
It's something we work with children. I don't know if you have children,
Yeah,
Eder, but when we're
I have a
teaching,
one.
yeah, when you teach the children, you must look both ways
Yeah,
before you cross the road. You must wait for the light to turn green because the consequence is very severe if you don't.
yeah. I teach my daughter that.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Any questions before we move on?
No, we can move on.
Okay, I need to just change a word here. Hold on, because it's a little confusing. So I'm going to change a word just to make it clearer. Okay.
I have a question. My microphone is very loud or it's okay?
No, it's perfect. It's perfect.
Okay.
All right. So read the instructions, Eder.
Okay. Think about degrees of obligation. Fill in the blanks with the correct modal.
So the modals are down here on the bottom right. You need to choose the modal that you think should complete each of these sentences.
Okay. You should throw your trash on. You shouldn't throw your trash on the street. You shouldn't.
Good. Oh,
You shouldn't.
good.
Is that right? You shouldn't. You need to be careful on public transportation when you travel.
Good.
They need to leave now or they will miss the flight.
Okay.
Public transportation when you travel. Public transportation. Um, you should snorkel when you're on vacation. It's fantastic.
All right. Excellent. Good
I
job.
I want to change
Um,
the second response I did. I think it's should. Yeah, yeah. I think
you
it's
think
should.
you think it should? So it's mild?
Public transportation. Careful on public transportation when you travel. What's public transportation? It's a bus or a cab, a taxi.
Public transportation, yes. The bus, the train, the airplane.
Oh, so
Okay, so all of the places, the train station, the plane, the airports, bus
so
stations.
I think need to is better. I think need to is better.
Oh, okay. So need to is better.
Yeah.
Good. Now let's look at number three. Need to works there. It's moderate. The consequences of missing a flight are not life threatening, missing a flight, but there could be some severe financial consequences of missing a flight. I think I might use must.
Must.
Must. They must leave now or they will miss the flight. The first consequence is they will miss the flight. If they don't leave now, they will miss the flight. So it's pretty severe. This is a strong recommendation. And if they miss the flight, the consequences of missing the flight
Is
are financial,
yeah,
right?
expensive. Very expensive.
Yes, it's expensive if you miss your flight and you have to change your flight or book another airplane, another airplane ticket.
and pay it another time.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. And Eder, if you're not leaving from home, if you're say on vacation and at the hotel, if you don't make the flight, now you have to pay for another hotel room and pay for a new flight, and so it can be pretty
Severe.
significant
Yeah.
consequences of yes. So I think must is a better modal there.
Yeah, I think too. I think too.
Okay. All right. Good.
The other ones are okay. You shouldn't
Oh.
you shouldn't throw your trash on the street. You need to be careful on public transportation when you travel. They must. You should snorkel. You should snorkel. I think
So
that's
the
the only one.
Eder, I just want to point out the word that I changed here. Oops, sorry. That's not the give me a minute here. Oh, the word that I changed. Hold on, I gotta move this. The word that I changed was here, throw. The original word was leave. And that can be a little misleading because if it's the day that the trucks come to collect your garbage, you do leave
Okay.
your trash on the street, right? We
So you
we
must.
it, but we leave it in but we leave it in a container for the truck to collect when it comes around. So this is it's a little misleading to use leave. So that's why I like to change that word to throw because it makes that modal more uh, easier. It's easier to see that modal shouldn't belongs in that sentence
Yeah.
because we shouldn't just throw trash on the street, but we do leave it for the garbage trucks to collect. So,
Yeah,
all
yeah.
right. So let's go
Cool.
on. We have one more practice exercise here, Eder, and you're going to answer these questions using modal verbs. Okay. So, where do you recommend taking a trip, Eder?
I recommend to
Now
go.
remember modals here.
Okay.
We want to use
You
modals.
you should you should travel outside the country if you can.
Travel outside of your country if you can.
Yeah.
Why?
I think it's a pretty good thing. I like it. Well, I just did it one time, but it was great.
Where did you go?
We we know, yeah. I lived in Spain for 6 months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was
So
great.
what? Yes, I can imagine. My grandson is living in Spain right now for
Yeah,
nine
what
months.
city?
He's he's near Barcelona. I don't know the name of the city specifically. He's near
Yeah,
Barcelona, and
I lived
he's
in
teach.
Barcelona for 2 months.
Yes, he's
Yes.
teaching English there.
Oh, cool. I
Yeah,
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 Barcelona.
it's very cool.
I think Barcelona. I
And
think
I'm
it's the more beautiful city of Spain. It's pretty.
yes, wonderful. I think it's a wonderful opportunity for him to be immersed in another culture. He's only 23 years old, and I think it's he has traveled outside of Canada on vacation, but I think that's a different experience. If you go to a vacation destination for a week or two, you're really probably with other people from other countries who are also on vacation, and you
Yeah,
don't really experience the culture as
yeah,
well as you would in with this kind when you actually live there for a
and
period of time.
and he speaks Spanish fluently.
No, no, he doesn't. I had suggested to him that he learn some basic Spanish. I asked him before when he was telling us about this opportunity. I said, "Are you going to try and learn some Spanish?" And he said, "No, I don't think so." And I said, "Why not?" He said, "Well, the school has told us we can only speak English in front of the children. We're not allowed to speak any Spanish in front of the children."
Okay, but
And
he'll need to speak to other persons in the city and that.
that's what I said to him. I said, "You're not going to be in the school 24 hours a day. And you're going to need to go to the grocery store and buy pan, y
Yeah,
mantequilla, y leche. So you need to know what those things are in Spanish." And he's like, "Oh, right. I probably should try to study a little Spanish." But
but
I suspect he will speak much more Spanish by the time he comes back to Canada than he did when he left.
yeah, of
So,
course, yeah, sure.
okay. And so, Eder, what shouldn't you pack when you go on vacation?
You shouldn't pack, like I said before, you work clothes.
Okay. Excellent. Yes, you shouldn't pack your work clothes. You're not going to be working.
Yeah.
Good job.
This
And
you're not supposed to.
excuse me. And the final question, what laws must you obey
All
when
the
you
law.
travel?
You must you must obey all
Yes,
the laws.
that's right. That's kind of a trick question, but that's true. You must obey all the laws. Even if you
Yeah.
don't know what they are, that's
Yeah.
not an excuse for not obeying the laws. So
If you don't obey the law, you could get in jail.
that's right. That's right. And that's the last thing you want to do in a foreign country is be in
Oh,
jail.
oh no.
Yeah. Creates a problem. All right. Well, Eder, do you have any questions?
No, no. My pronunciation it's fair enough. It's bad. How it is.
All right, great. Well, Eder, you did an excellent job today. You seem to be quite clear on these modals for recommendations, when to use mild and moderate and strong
Okay.
modals for suggestions. So we are going to wrap up because we're almost out of time. That was the end of the lesson. You're going to answer one of these following questions, Eder. You can choose which question you'd like to answer.
Okay. How you? I will read out loud. Okay.
Okay.
How will you use what you learned today? What do you need to improve on? What did you do well today?
So,
Mm,
which of those questions would you like to talk about, Eder?
what do you need to improve on? I think
Okay. So, what do you think? Let's start with what you think you need to improve on, Eder.
okay. Not for this lesson, but in general, I think I need to
Uh huh.
improve my grammar, my speaking, and vocabulary. I think.
All right. Well, I'll tell you, Eder, vocabulary will probably be a lifelong
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
journey. I didn't hear you having to pause for a period of time to think of a word. So I think you have a good vocabulary. I know that we will. I'm still learning new words at my age, having spoken
yeah,
English
yeah.
my
Me
whole
too.
life. I still learn new words. So it will be lifelong. But you have
Uh,
a nice broad vocabulary at this point,
I think
broad enough that you're able to
I
go
struggle a
ahead.
lot to say sentence in the past. That I struggle a
Uh,
lot.
Okay, so you think you need to practice on past tense,
Past tense,
speaking in
yeah.
past tense.
I think
Okay.
it'll be the next classes. I think.
Okay, well, we'll go back to the index here and just have a look. And yes, you know what? You will have at in your next lesson this present perfect.
Cool,
Okay, that talks about the past. And
cool, cool.
that's a tense that doesn't exist in Portuguese, Eder.
Yeah,
It's a unique English tense that we use to talk about the past. So I think this that next lesson will help you. Actually,
yeah.
the next two lessons will
I've
help
learned.
you very much
I've
with your
learned.
past tense.
I've learned pretty much of what I know of English, seeing movies and TV shows and stuff like that. So I
Mhm.
know,
Mhm.
very.
Mhm.
I barely know grammar, so I have to work on that.
Okay. All
Cool.
right. Well, you'll have some opportunity to do that in your next couple of private classes. You're doing really great, Eder. Your pronunciation is very good. I didn't have any trouble understanding what you said today. Your listening skills seem really good. So, um, keep up the good work. Focus on those areas where you think you have a little bit of weakness, and you'll be fluent before you know it.
Thank you, thank you.
You're welcome,
I
Eder.
appreciate it very much, and your you said in Spain. Who was in Spain? Go.
My grandson is
Oh,
in Spain.
your grandson. I wish him the best. Got a
Well,
great.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you a lot,
Eder, it's been a
teacher.
real pleasure to meet you today, and I hope
Yeah,
we can meet again in another class. I hope you enjoyed this class, and thank you for
I
using Open
enjoyed.
English today.
I enjoyed
Enjoy.
very much. Thank you a lot.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a great weekend, Eder.
You
Bye.
too. Bye bye.
Thanks.